I really applaud the emphasis on corruption as a matter of governance, and I want to tell you some personal experiences and then give a recommendation. In 1977, when I was President Carter's chief domestic advisor in the White House, I drafted and negotiated the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. 25 years later...
Can we give this man a hand?
25 years...
This is the man who put all Europeans to shame.
25 years later, when I was in the Clinton administration as Undersecretary of State, I negotiated the OECD Anti-Corruption Convention. Now, a couple of comments. First of all, one of the things that has begun to make the OECD Convention somewhat meaningful, and I underscore somewhat, is peer review. We ask the countries that have committed to the OECD Convention to subject themselves to peer review in terms of implementation. And I have to tell you that all countries have not been willing to subject themselves to peer review, and that implementation is very uneven. It is less than uneven with respect to emerging countries. And there are two sides to every bribe, the recipient and the donor. If the laws are tough in the donor countries, it's much more difficult, and it will help Africa greatly. Now, I want to give one concrete example of what companies can do. I'm on the board of Alcatel-Lucent. Ben Vervoyen, when he came in, was faced with a major, it's now public, a major anti-corruption charge that preceded him by the U.S. government under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. What he did, and this is a great way you talk about the 30,000 limit, is he eliminated all agents dealing in developing countries, including Africa, because it is the so-called commissions by agents that really lead to the corrupt payments. So this is something that I would also urge you to do. Again, I applaud your emphasis on this in the foundations, but this is a very concrete step to urge companies to do.
Thank you very much. I think this is a wonderful contribution, and again, some tips for all the chief executives sitting here on how to fight corruption if they are serious. In answer to your question about the victims of, the whistleblowers, as they call them, what is happening actually around us, I'm going to take that within a wider context actually. The world around us are changing. The role of non-state actors is really growing now. The world is no longer run by governments really. Okay, yes, they play important role, etc. But the non-state actors are really, we discover, are very powerful. The people who are really lobbying governments, creating mass movements, dealing with other, it's amazing. Of course, because of communications, because of internet, etc. And we need to get out of this box to think that policies are really made in Whitehall or in the Elysee or somewhere else. Actually, all those people are really susceptible to the tabloid headlines, what is in the 9 o'clock news, what people in the streets are demonstrating or doing. In the words of I was talking to a British minister, and he said, you know, Mo, he said, our power is shrinking. I sit there, I see our power is shrinking day after day after day. I come to the issue of what is happening. There is an informal network between all those non-government, players. And what we do is, in situation like this, we offer situation. Yeah, I mean, there is a Kenyan guy, for example, the famous whistleblower. We took him to the university in was it Oxford or Oxford, I think. We offered him a fellowship there, residents to be a little bit more safe. So if somebody really did raises, we all come to help in different people. So we all work together, we work with Bill Gates on Agra, the Green Revolution in the area of these. We support, we do different things, but we all come and support. You'll be surprised how I'm having dinner tomorrow with those guys. So it is how we all work together to support through this informal, and we prefer to support those people through informal networks, because the problem If somebody like Mugabe, for example, you have a dissident there, and the British government give refuge to that, immediately he's called a British agent. You know, people are labeled as French agent, British agent, Russian agent, and we don't want that. So we, the informal civil society, we have a role to play, and we have the resources to do it. Actually, if you look at the people doing AIDS around the world, actually, I think we are doing more among ourselves than all the development budget of all these great countries. The whole weight now is moving towards this. The rise of civil society is a very important phenomenon. Many people don't notice that. This is changing. Communications, it changed Africa. Civil society is very strong and growing. And that's what we say, please, you want the friendship of African people? Pay respect to the African civil society, to the African people. Don't build friendships with dictators who are here today, gone tomorrow. And then you are left high and dry. Be careful of the Mabutus, of the Idi Amins, of all those Abashas, all those criminal guys. They'll go. And then you will be held responsible for their actions.